Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the New Jersey Film Festival Filmmaker interview series that we have for the Spring 2022 New Jersey Film Festival. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary. Yes, we've been doing this since 1982. And I actually founded it wasn't called the New Jersey Film Festival back then. It was called the Rutgers Film Co-op. We were the University Film Society, and it grew into this monster that is the largest and longest running film festival in the state, a juried film festival. I don't think we're the largest anymore, but we're right up there. And at the same time, we're here to champion independent cinema. And we have two wonderful people here today to talk about the world premiere screening of The Outwaters, which is directed by Robbie Banfitch, who's here. And Robbie's joining us from California. And Angela Basolis is here. She's an actress in the movie, and she's living in Florida right now. So we have people from all parts of the United States, since I'm in New Jersey, of course. And if you want to get quick and dirty information, I guess I should move my chair over a little so you can see the njfilmfest.com is our website. And at the end of the program, I will be going over how you can purchase tickets and things like that. But the Q&As are very informal. Since the Q&As, there will be a live Q&A since Robbie will be at the screening. I don't know if Angela will be at the premiere. So there'll be a live Q&A at the end of the screening. So I think for this Q&A, we will not have any major spoilers. I really kind of don't want to let people know what's going to happen because it is a kind of psychological horror film, and I think we want to keep people guessing for this Q&A. So hopefully we can not give too much away. Anyway, welcome guys. Thanks for joining us. So of course, the first question has to go to the master. We have a number of filmmakers in our film festival that did just about everything in their projects. They directed it, they produced it, they wrote it, they starred in it, they edited it, they shot some of it. And I guess, Robbie, that you fit the bill. So you're our latest Orson Welles, master of many, jack of all trades and a master of all of them. So please tell us, how did you get involved in making The Outwaters?
I've always been making movies since I was about 10. I went to film school in New York at School of Visual Arts. Cool. And I had been wanting to make a horror movie for a long time, like a feature. And I always have been making films with Ange. So I remember we were watching Willow Creek, which is another found footage horror film about Bigfoot. And I was like, it was the first time I had seen one that I really liked since the original Blair Witch Project. And it got me inspired to just figure out how I could, I just wanted to make a found footage film because I knew I could do that on my own because I have no money.
Yeah, and I think, despite the fact that it's lo-fi, that it still has some really wonderful qualities, not only the way that you shoot the film and the kind of mood that it sets by the way that you shoot it. And, I think you're at the cusp of a kind of new trend where these found footage horror movies are back in vogue. And, we have a former student of ours who's also making his. He did a campaign to raise money, which I contributed to because I try to help my students any way I can. So I think you're on the cusp and at the right time to do that. And anyway, so tell us a little bit about the film. I mean, we know that you wanted to make this horror film. Tell us about the actual film itself.
It's just about a group of friends who go out to the desert to make a music video, and something completely unrelated to why they're there starts to happen to them. That is menacing.
And
to keep it spoiler free, bad things happen.
At the time, were you living in California, or did you guys all just kind of, because there's that sequence where you fly back to New Jersey for a birthday or, for an event, and that is actually your real mom, right? That's it.
Yes, that is my mom.
And that's your house.
She'll be at the screening.
So you're using the facilities that are available to you, because that way you don't have to go pay through the roof to rent a place and things like that, which is real smart. But
yeah.
But you were living in LA when you were making this film, correct?
Yes. So Ange flew out here multiple times to shoot.
Yeah.
which was
Yeah, yeah.
amazing. I had never been to the Mojave, so that for me was like incredible. Like it was so beautiful out there. And Robbie's eye is so good. I mean, the shots of the landscape are just stunning and so beautiful. And this is throughout all of his movies. It's one of my favorite things about him as a director. And yeah, I mean, it was so fun. I will fly out any moment to be in Robbie's.
That's very nice of you. And
happily.
your role, Ange, is that you're the makeup artist, right? You're the
Yeah, kind of stylist vibe. Person who comes out to help and assist with the music video.
So the film is a very meta film, right? It's a film about making a film, but it devolves into something else. And I guess you, in your description of the film, your tagline, you call it a slow burn. Tell us more about that. I mean, was it a deliberate idea? Why not make a 20-minute film rather than a feature? Did you really want to have it as a slow burn from the very beginning, or did it kind of evolve into?
Yeah, I always wanted the first half of the movie to be very slice of life and kind of ordinary, with a little bit of like undercurrents of doom.
It's definitely suggested early on. I mean, there's all sorts of little references to what's going to happen. And I think when you give the backpack to your brother, who's not actually your brother, but he's actually really good in the film too. Tell us a little bit about him.
That is my friend Scott.
Yeah.
We worked together at Greenpeace for 9 years, 10 years. So I met him about 10, 11 years ago.
Cool.
And yeah, he's just one of my close friends. So I wanted him to, I put my closest friends in my movies.
Well, why not? Because you feel comfortable working with them. I mean, David Lynch works with people he works over and over with the people that he likes working with. I mean, I don't know if they were his friends initially, but some of them were. I mean, his girlfriend was in his very first movie.
Yeah, and Scott will always be in my movies as long as they want to.
Very cool, very cool. So what was it like shooting in the Mojave Desert? I mean, were there any issues with dealing with nature out there?
I'll let Ange take this one.
Any snakes?
So actually, for this second, we had to reshoot a couple scenes. We did a couple scenes. Well, first of all, I'm the screaming and the blood, and I hated that. So that was very dramatic. And it's, the fake blood is, it is what it is. And we're actually out there in the desert. So it's not like I'm 2 feet away from a shower.
Right.
We're out there, kind of dumping water on me out there, just like in the middle of the desert at night.
Yeah.
And then that was in the initial shooting, was just, a lot of the blood, like those kind of logistics for, extra difficult because we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then for a second round of reshoots, we had some downtime in between just because of the sun and timing and stuff. So we were just kind of lounging. We were like, oh, this is great. It's beautiful out here. And all of a sudden one bee comes flying in, and then we find like there's a second bee, and they eventually, within 20 minutes, we were swarmed by desert bees for our water. They had identified us as like a source of water. And so they just started swarming us in the tents that we used for the shoots. Like we had to abandon the whole set. We had to just grab whatever we could and abandon the set until nighttime, until they went away. And the bee pheromones, I guess, are so strong. We actually ended up camping that night, I would say about a mile away, maybe, on the actual campsite. It's kind of around that area where we were shooting. And they found us in the morning. Oh my! They found us. They were on our tent in the morning. So we got stalked by killer bees.
Yeah, bee stalkers.
You were able to shoot some of that. There is a little sequence with the bees inside the tent. I saw that. That's cool.
We had to do that scene where we get into a little bit of a fight, and we realized we were being actually swarmed by bees as we were filming that scene. So there's some actual found footage of us running away from the bees and stuff.
Very real. It's like that is very real.
That's outtake footage for the extra special features that you have when you release. Well,
There were also a couple things that we stumbled upon while we were filming that we filmed, but I thought were too cliche to include in the movie, such as we came upon a wheelchair sitting in front of a dugout hole in the middle of the desert, and on the wheelchair was a rusty knife and hammer.
wow.
And so we filmed that, but I was like, this is too...
Yeah. Well, I mean,
cliche.
you have the axe buried at the top of the hill, and that starts to send signals. And then the other time when you stick the mic into the open hole, I thought that was really cool too. And the sonics in that sequence are just awesome. But I know from my time going out to the Southwest when we were going around at night, and I guess my buddy's friend said, "Oh, you got to feel the cool air that's in this hole." I said, "I'm not going near the rattlesnakes are abundant in that area." But you know, I don't know. Was that something that you created, or was it just there?
The hole was there. I think before, because a lot of the stuff that I shot, we found along the way. Like, we had never been to where we filmed.
Right.
So I think initially I was just going to stick the microphone against like a hill, but then when I found the hole, I was like, oh, that works better.
But did you created the sound that came out of there, right? That was all post-production.
Yeah, that particular sound was from a microphone, and my friend Arrow was driving me to a shoot, and we heard this weird noise coming through the microphone as I was testing it, and I was like, oh, pull over. So I just filmed the sound coming through the mic, which was very weird and random.
That's very cool. Very
walkie-talkie.
cool.
Sorry, walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkies. So, but how long did it actually take to shoot and then post-produce the film? I mean, the actual shoot itself probably
Main shoot was 5 days.
5 days.
But then I always do this, but over the course of a year and a half, I continued to go out and shoot more scenes. There's a possibility I may shoot more scenes in March too.
Why not?
I will continue working on it until it's released.
You have to make the movie you want to make, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say total maybe 14 days combined, but it over the course of a year and a half. And that wasn't out of necessity. It was just because I kept coming up with like little new ideas and wanting to shoot more. And
dealing with COVID too, right? Because you shot during COVID.
Yeah, that didn't actually.
Because you're by yourself, so it's not that big a deal, right? I mean, you're there.
Yeah, it was just, I think at that time, it was right when things were starting to get, like, people were traveling a little bit more.
Right.
But I remember being worried about Ange getting on a plane in August of last year.
You had to be masked up the whole way, I know.
Oh yeah, it was a little light, but it was good. And then once we got there too, so I was quarantined in Philly at the time. So to be able to go out there at that point, you know, a couple months in was kind of great. It was so nice to be in the nature. We did some really great things. Also, where we stayed was amazing. We stayed on this beautiful lake, and there was, you know, the swimming and things like that. So that was fun. It was so nice at that point to get out and to be able to experience that was really great.
For sure. I mean, cabin fever and yet, and you kind of get that feel in your film too. I mean, there's definitely this claustrophobic feeling, you know, where the film goes from very bright, there are some moments of darkness before you actually get to the night sequences, which seem to predominate once you get to the last half of the movie. There doesn't seem to be as many day sequences in your film. I mean, they're there, but they punctuate more. I think the night sequences take over. Was that the plan, or that's just the way that it ended up being edited?
I had a very bare bones idea when we started filming and kind of found the movie through filming and editing and then coming up with new ideas. So I don't know what the plan was, honestly, for the second half of the movie when we started filming.
But the idea of having the flashcards discovered that had all the video content post facto was something that you figured on at the very start?
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
we're watching the 3 cards, right?
Hmm.
And they're shot, but they seem like they're sequential nonetheless, the way that they're presented to the audience, correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be as if you took the memory cards and just watched all 3 of them
And they're
from the
dated, so you
beginning to
know
the
more
end.
or less that they go that way. Well, wait, we haven't talked about Emma at all. Well, tell us about her.
She worked with me at Greenpeace, and we were working together one day, and she started singing, and I was like, "Oh, will you be in my movie?" Because I need someone who can sing. Um, so yeah, she's just a really nice, cool girl that I worked with at Greenpeace and was down to uh, film, and yeah.
Yeah, she's really great too. And I think that the ensemble, the fact that you guys were comfortable with each other makes the film really great. I mean, you mentioned a couple of the influences that, what were some of the other movies that you thought of while you were making these? I mean, besides Blair Witch Project and or Cloverfield or something like that, because it's shot from your perspective most of the time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mentioned Orson Welles. He was going to do Heart of Darkness before Citizen Kane. And there's this
Oh.
very famous photograph of him in front of a card that has a picture of a large eyeball with an equal sign and the letter I, because the I equals the first person, because it's a subjective camera, and we see what you see primarily. And so, was that something that also was premeditated?
Well, in terms of influences, this sounds a little pretentious, but Tree of Life and Terrence Malick.
Oh, cool.
Initially, I was like, I want to make a found footage movie, but like really pretty and flowing like Tree of Life. I love Terrence Malick, so
Very
a
cool.
combination of Terrence Malick and Blair Witch Project was what I was going for.
Awesome, awesome. Well, folks, you got to absolutely check out this film. And you, like I mentioned, there will be, how many of the cast will be at the screening, Robbie?
I will be there, and I believe is
Probably.
going to try to be there,
Yeah.
and my mom. I know
That's
that Scott is going to try to be there, but the only ones that are certain are me and my mom, and most likely Ange. Scott will likely be there
very
as
cool.
well.
So, folks, you can hobnob with Robbie after you see his film and pick his brain what he was trying to get to, because the film is really crazy. It goes from, you know, very kind of road movie-ish, and then it gets really, really hairy. And if you like horror movies, you know, I must say that it's a psychological horror film. And I think Robbie mentioned, because of the budget, there are certain limitations in what he could do, but I think he pulls it off, and you will be frightened, no question. And I think in a good way, because you'll start thinking about your own life and about, you know, what you would do. I remember when I saw Jaws the first time, I didn't want to go in the water for a long time. I think this film will make you think twice about going into the desert at night, for sure. So let me just share screen so I can show people how to get some tickets and stuff. All right, we'll share screen. And so this was our homepage, which is njfilmfest.com, which is on the lawn sign behind me. And when you get to this page, you can just kind of scroll down to the current events section. And normally everything would be here, but because the New Jersey Film Festival in the spring of 2022 will continue to be a hybrid festival where there'll be select live screenings, but everything we're showing is going to be available online. So all you have to do is click on the View Schedule by Tickets button, and that'll bounce you to our Eventive page, which has got all the information you need in order to get tickets and stuff like that. You can check out all the offerings we have, and here's Robbie's film. And to order tickets, just hit pre-order now, and it'll prompt you to enter your credit card. It's $15, but you have the added benefit of watching it online. You can watch it online as early as 12:01 Eastern time on the 12th of February. It's a Saturday. And if you're on the West Coast, like Robbie is, it actually starts a little earlier because of the time difference. So you have 24 hours to start watching it. And let's say you don't start watching it till 11:45 that night, Eastern time, then you still have 24 hours to finish it. And we had one fellow that would come, he would watch it online during the day. And then when we had a live screen like this one, it says online for 24 hours and live in person. We have a screening at 7 o'clock where Robbie will be there. There'll be a live audience. Fingers crossed with crazy COVID, but right now we're all set to go. The university has allowed us to do a number of screenings, and the Outwaters is one of them. I just show you a few other things. You can go back to the festival site, and you want to check out the whole schedule. You click on the schedule button, and it opens up for you where you can see all of the various films. There are pictures that'll pop up. They take a little while to load. You want the tickets, it'll bounce you back to that page. And you want to go to the film guide and just read about each film. They're all listed pretty much alphabetically, and you can get to the Outwaters page and read all about who's in it, and there's a trailer you can watch and that kind of stuff. So stop share. And so we'll be showing this great film on February 12th, 24 hours online. And the 7 o'clock screening is at Rutgers University in Voorhees Hall, room 105. It seats about 250 people. They tell us that we have to have a reduced capacity, but we have a backup room. So if there's overflow, we can always show the movie there. And it'll be at 7 o'clock. And then at the end of the program, there'll be a Q&A with Robbie and cast and crew and mom.
And mom. Oh,
so
God.
Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. I look
Brace yourself for mom.
I look forward to meeting you all in person on the 12th of February. And thanks so much for watching this Q&A, and hope to see you at the movies.
For having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ange.